get this show on the road. And we start with NASCAR related supercars news, because defending Supercars champion Will Brown will come across to compete in the NASCAR Cup Series race on the streets of Chicago this summer. Brown will drive the number 13 Chevrolet for Kaulig Racing, with sponsorship from Mobile X and Shaw and Partners Financial Services. He'll be the third Kaulig car as teammate to AJ Allmendinger and Ty Dillon. Brown made his his Cup Series debut last summer at Sonoma with RCR Richard Childress Racing, and was very impressive before an electrical gremlin caused him to finish 31st. The 2024 Supercars champion said after watching Shane Van Gisbergen win on debut at Chicago and competing in the Cup Series last year himself at Sonoma, he wanted to compete this year at the Chicago street race. He also felt very happy about the Supercars calendar aligning this year, which will allow him to go to Charlotte early to prepare for the Chicago race, courtesy on screen of Kaulig Racing. We want to hear from you on this, because it's just me. Normally I'd be answering Josh's question here, so if you're in the comment section and you're watching us live, get involved. What do you think about this with Brown coming across? Good opportunity for him to contend for a win. Will it be SVG versus Will Brown, the guy that replaced SVG at Red Bull Ampol, against him now in the Cup Series in Chicago? Going to be a mouth-watering thing to see if those guys can get it together at Chicago in a few races' time. Also from the NASCAR and Supercar crossover this week, and this one features on the Xfinity Series in what some people are calling the Supercars invasion. Another one is heading to America. Jack Perkins will make his Xfinity Series debut at Portland towards the end of August. He will drive the number 19 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, with sponsorship again from Shaw and Partners Financial Services, the same sponsor that Brown has on the side of his Cup car for Chicago. Perkins arrived in North Carolina last week to visit JGR's shop, as you can see in the photo on screen. He met the team and did a seat fitting, and to spend some time in the TRD simulator to get practice time in for his Xfinity run at Portland in August. He said he first started to think about coming to NASCAR in 2008 when he came over to watch Marcus Ambrose race at Sonoma and to be a spotter for Paul Morris, who was racing in the ARCA West race that same weekend. Perkins also gave credit to his old childhood friend James Small, who currently serves as Chase Briscoe's crew chief in the Cup Series, former crew chief, of course, of Martin Truex Jr. One JGR executive said Small highly recommended Perkins to the team when they were searching for a driver to put in their Xfinity car for Portland. The photo courtesy of Jack Perkins. If you're wondering why we're seeing more drivers from Supercars giving NASCAR a try, motorsport journalist Kelly Crandall asked Will Brown about this, and Brown said that Supercars drivers don't have to adapt too much since their Gen 3 car has similarities compared to the next gen Cup car, and added that more drivers wanted to try NASCAR after seeing SVG's historic win in Chicago a couple of years ago. Link to that interview is in the video description. So how do we think Jack Perkins is going to go? Aussie Jack Perkins, to use James Courtney's nickname that he's termed for JP. How do we think he's going to go in the Xfinity Series? I think he's going to go extremely well, and he's got extremely good equipment, as we know from JGR. So Aussie Jack is going to come and make some waves, you would think, in that Portland race. Get involved, and we'll get your comments up on screen about that and the Will Brown stuff as the show rolls on. Hello to Adam, who says he's happy to see Jack Perkins living a dream. Absolutely. He's been a stalwart in the Supercars Championship for a very long time, in between Super 2 and the main series. And it'll be great to see him coming over. Joe will be in Portland, of course, for that race at Grid Network's home track. I think Will Brown should aim for a top 5 finish. I agree with you, Joe. I think we saw how good Brody went in that car at Indianapolis a couple of years ago when it was with RCR, of course, and how well Will went, all the W's, at Sonoma last year, as well, before his technical problems put him out of the race, with SVG, of course, spotting for Will Brown at Sonoma last year. Adam says we need to get Jack Perkins on the show. Yes, I think that is absolutely a priority, and Joe agrees. So if you've got any comments about Will Brown coming to Chicago and Jack Perkins coming to Portland, Adam says he's looking for a top 10 for Jack Perkins. I think it's going to be more than that, Adam. I think he's going to be top 5 and competing for the win. All good to see crossover. There's been lots of talk about crossover and stuff post Indianapolis and Kyle Larson and stuff, hasn't there, on social media this week? So more of that going on. Going to be awesome. Now we need Supercars to come back to the USA for a proper round. I'm guessing Adam means there. He did the one off at COTA and haven't been back since. That was 2013 off the top of my head. So